Witchcraft. They conjure images of Salem, the infamous witch hunt that's become a dark chapter in history. But what if I told you there was another trial? One that's shrouded in mystery and absurdity. A trial that took place in Mount Holly, New Jersey. A trial where witchcraft wasn't just accused, it was tested. This isn't folklore, ladies and gentlemen. This is the bizarre story of the Mount Holly witch trials of 1730 that Benjamin Franklin himself reported on. To set the stage, let's go back nearly 3 centuries to colonial New Jersey, Mount Holly. Mount Holly was a quiet village, but like many colonial towns, it wasn't immune to the whispers of witchcraft. Superstitions ran wild, and any unusual behavior could spark accusations. But this wasn't Salem. There were no Puritan fire and brimstone frenzy. Instead, what unfolded here was oddly practical, almost scientific, if you can call it that. Earlier I mentioned Benjamin Franklin, and that's for good reason. In 1729, Benjamin Franklin bought the Pennsylvania Gazette, a newspaper printing company that ran from 1728 until 1800. During this time, it was a very prominent and very well-respected newspaper company. On October 22nd of 1730, Benjamin Franklin printed an article with the title of A Witch Trial at Mount Holly. Burlington, October 12th, Saturday last, Mount Holly, about 8 miles from this place. Near 300 people were gathered together to see an experiment or two tried on some persons accused of witchcraft. It seems the accused have been charged with making their neighbor's sheep dance in an uncommon manner and with causing hogs to speak and to sing psalms.
Oh, fuck. Gates are open. I hope my sheep are okay. Look, is that them right down there? Is that the sheep? Yo, what are they doing to the sheep? Yo, what's going on? Yo, we gotta get out of here. Let's check on the pigs on the way out. What the fuck is going on?
The witnesses returned to tell the town of everything that they had seen. The witnesses were very positive that if the accused were weighed in scales against the Bible would prove too heavy for them. Or that if they were bound and put into the river, they would swim. The witnesses knew that they had no way to prove what they saw. So in an attempt to prove their innocence, they said that they would be willing to do the same trials as the ones that they saw commit the acts. Accordingly, the time and place was agreed on and advertised about the country. The accusers, 1 man and 1 woman. The accused, the same. It was agreed to use the scales first. A huge, great Bible belonging to the justice of the place was provided, and a lane through the populace was made from the justice's house to the scales, which were fixed on a gallows erected for that purpose. Then came out of the house a grave tall man, carrying the holy writ, before the supposed wizard. The wizard was first put on the scale, and over him was read a chapter out of the books of Moses. And then the Bible was put on the other scale, which was being held down by somebody. Once it was let go, to the great surprise of the spectators, flesh and bones came down plump and outweighed the great good book by abundance. They tested the remaining 3, and all 3 outweighed the book as well. This being over, the accusers and the rest of the mob, not satisfied with this experiment, would have the trial by water.
What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or
Still to be happy about.
you're up too old?
Job's not finished. Job finished? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Were both accused and accusers being stripped, saving only to the women their shifts, were bound hand and foot, placed in the water, lengthwise, from side to side. The accuser man, being thin and spare, with some difficulty, began to sink, at last. But the rest, every single one of the rest swam light upon the water. A sailor in the flat jumped out upon the back of the man accused, thinking to drive him down to the bottom. But the person bound without any help came up some time before the other. The woman accuser, being told that she did not sink, would be ducked a second time, when she swam again as light as before, upon which she declared that she believed the accused had bewitched her to make her so light, and that she would duck again 100 times, but she would duck the devil out of her. The accused man, being surprised at his own swimming, was not so confident of his innocence. He said, "If I am a witch, it is more than I know." Which, let's be honest, for 1730, that is a fucking bar. Part of the spectators were of opinion that any person so bound and placed in water, unless they were mere skin and bones, would swim till their breath was gone, and their lungs filled with water. But it being the general belief of the populace that the women's shifts and the garters with which they were bound helped to support them, it is said they are to be tried again the next warm weather, naked. And this is it. This is the end of the article. So what have we learned today? First, colonial New Jersey took witch trials to a whole nother level. Second, if you're ever accused of witchcraft, make sure you're heavier than a Bible. Maybe pack a snack or two just in case. And third, always be suspicious of anyone who suggests the swimming test, because let's face it, that's just not a test you want to pass anyway. Was justice served in Mount Holly? Who's to say? But one thing's for sure, witchcraft trials in the 1700s really knew how to keep things entertaining. If only they had YouTube back then, right? Thank you for coming along on this wild journey into history. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could probably float a little too well. Until next time, stay curious, stay weird, and maybe stay off the scales.